Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. My name is Chris Drago. I run a brand called Pathos of Things. I've been running it for about 5 years, and I'm making videos about my process now. In this video, I'm going to break down 5 years of logo evolution for my brand, starting from 2019. I'm going to talk about the inspiration, some products that use those logos, why I did logos the way I did, how I can do them better, how I am doing them better now. I'm also going to tie it into the concept of a design system, which my next video is going to be about. If you haven't watched the first video about a little overview of how I'm trying to build a luxury brand, I highly suggest you check that out. I talk about design systems a little there. But without further ado, let's get into this video, starting with 2019 when Pathos of Things was a baby brand. It wasn't even a brand yet, really. I take screenshots of everything. I have receipts of everything. I have an archive of literally everything. So these screenshots are directly from my hard drive, and I have the dates stamped here from when I worked on them, and I have these in chronological order. Starting here with March 2019, it was inspired by Jerry Lorenzo, who is the owner and creative director at Fear of God, who took the font from the band Pentagram, and they also used it for Justin Bieber's Purpose tour when he was directing that tour and styling Justin Bieber and putting him in all Fear of God clothes. So I was pretty inspired by that. I didn't really know if I wanted to turn this into a full-on clothing brand yet, but I just liked the aesthetic, so I put it in my hard drive. The next version of the logo, or V2, which came in December 2019, was from a free font called Planet Cosmos. Chase Atlantic used this font on their album cover for Phases, which came out in 2019. That's where I first saw the font and I was inspired. And then I learned that Yeezy Calabasas also used this font. So I bet these guys were fans of Yeezy and fans of Ye, and they saw this font and they used it for their album cover. Or maybe they had a graphic designer make this cover and that graphic designer was inspired by Calabasas. I'm not quite sure which one came first, but either way, I saw the Phases album cover first. And I was like, I think that would look cool with the Pathos logo. There's several shared letters. It looks so similar, as you could see here. I'll just highlight it really quickly, like this and this. It shares a P, it shares an A, it shares an S, it shares the H. I knew I had to change it up a little bit. When I finally decided I really wanted to do a clothing brand, I filed an LLC and opened a Shopify store. I made this logo in Illustrator. I used this as a template, and then I made this logo, and that was on 4/20/2020. I'm calling this similar but different. I still had no design chops, really. I just had an idea of what I thought was cool. I ended up using this logo on quite a few products, mostly the anime-inspired streetwear, around the same time, actually. But I have this listed as a day later. I launched this death metal font, which was just from a free font website or something like that. I did this for a hoodie drop, but it was pretty edgy and random. It wasn't really tied to the aesthetic of my brand. It didn't make much sense. I was just trying stuff to see what I thought was cool, see what would sell, see what would stick. This did not sell very well. It didn't really stick. But the anime tees actually sold pretty well. People thought these were cool in the anime space. Next, I ended up taking the P from this similar but different logo, and then I turned it into an emblem that I used for my website. I still use a version of this emblem on my website, but it was a blurry PNG. I didn't have an SVG file, so if I were to scale this, it would look super blurry. As you can see, if you zoom in, it's pretty blurry already just in this screenshot. But I did end up using the P emblem and the similar but different logo on some jackets and outerwear, and I had it printed on the ribbing. So I was trying to really just put this logo everywhere I could, which was not the best idea in retrospect. Then I did this Playboy inspired logo, basically a rip of the Playboy logo. This was for a specific t-shirt drop. This was actually one of my best sellers. This was when I realized that I could actually do this. This could really be a profitable brand. I knew I didn't really want to do the anime thing that much longer. That was a trendy thing that I jumped on. But I saw the power in starting a clothing brand around this point. So this was like phase 0, and then this was phase 1 sort of, but I ended up releasing a collection after this that I called season 1. So from now on, we'll refer to this as season 1. And this is kind of like warm-up anime. The first product that I designed for season 1 was this hat. This hat to this day is probably my most successful product. It went viral on TikTok and featured in GQ, which was super sick. The font I use is called Clarissa. It's a free serif font created by Dieter Steffman. The Weeknd used this font on the Take My Breath cover. I don't know who designed this album cover, but they used this free font. I used this free font as well. And then I turned that into this design, which I then put on this hat. So that was the beginning of 2022. After that, I got SVG files for my logos so I could expand them and minimize them and not lose any quality. Then I got this word mark, which I made, which is just the Arimo free font with bold and italics, which you can easily make in Canva. That is cool, but I'm no longer using designs that can be made for free in Canva. This was just something that I did for that time being. But I did use the Arimo font as well as this serif font. I forget specifically which serif font that is, but most serif fonts probably look similar to that in Canva. And then I used that as the tag for the inside of all my garments. So I actually just took this photo 10 minutes ago and then airdropped it to myself. So that actually, I think, looked pretty good. I decided to experiment with these Y2K stars from some free Y2K design asset pack that I probably got an Instagram ad for. And I mixed it with this racing aesthetic for some reason. I abandoned this idea almost immediately. I think the puffer is hard. This was a cool product, but I was definitely doing too much. I have Y2K aesthetic here, a free Canva font here, a different free Canva font here, a racing flag specific to a racing aesthetic, and my emblem that I've been using for 2 years. This is all over the place, but it was a cool idea. I was just trying things. Last year, I decided to keep going with the racing aesthetic, but drop the other elements like the Y2K aspects and the stars. I had this logo done by Hunter, hvn.ter on Instagram. It's a design studio known for bold typographic logo designs. I've worked with Hunter a few times. They're a little expensive, but they get great results. Ultimately, I dropped the racing aesthetic because it didn't feel original to me. Every streetwear brand followed the racing aesthetic trend, whether it was F1, NASCAR, motocross. There was a racing flag involved and they slapped it on the logo. So I took that out and now I have distilled this logo into this. So this is what I'm rocking with for 2024 into 2025. I have SVG files for these and I'm still using this emblem. And I think they look super clean and super modern. And the clothes that I'm going to be putting out in the next couple months work very well and are very cohesive with these logos. That is my quick around 10-minute video breaking down 5 years of logo progression. I'm going to make more videos about logos and design systems and things like that in the future. If you are looking forward to seeing anything like that or learn something new in this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.